Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, there was a lot of merchandise, not just merchandise, but definitely bumper stickers, t shirts, that kind of thing, marketed toward teenage girls, younger girls, with the idea 90% angel, 10% devil. You'd see it everywhere. I remember girls having it in their AOL profiles, it was their personal quote. And the idea, it makes sense. It's like, 90% of the time, I'm a good law abiding citizen, and 10% of the time, I'm kind of a rebel. It makes sense, and that's a good ratio. I mean, I feel like for being a person, that's a good ratio. 90% good, 10% bad. We all have our bads, so that's a pretty good ratio. Except when you think about what that ratio actually represents and the terminology that 90% devil or 90% angel, 10% devil. Uh, what is an angel? I mean, I'm not taking anything away from angels here when I say that angels are extremely powerful, at least the way they're written about. Angels are obviously a source of great heavenly power, but they're also just the soldiers of God. They're kind of, I know certain angels have names and certain angels are more important than others, but in general, angel, it's sort of a generic thing. It's this character with wings, whereas devil, you hear devil and you think the devil, and 10% devil, oh, not too bad, but really, what does the devil represent? The devil represents extremely, overwhelmingly shitty things, seriously bad things, inhumanly bad. So it's essentially that quote is like 90% of the time I'm kind of good. I try to do good things. 10% of the time, I am just a living nightmare. I am hell. Uh, and so, I don't know how you could fix that. Maybe you could say, 90% angel, 10% demon, which is weird. I would love it if that had been the slogan. But still, it doesn't really have the same ring to it. And the angel and devil thing, it actually goes back a lot farther. Uh, there's the 1960s pop singer Bobby V has a good song called Devil or Angel, and it's like, Devil or Angel, I can't make up my mind. It's like 1950s bullshit. But still, it's really good, and it's probably what started me thinking about this years ago. And then just today, I was thinking about the actual saying 90% this, 10% that, and I was like, they're really not the same substance, And speaking of demons too, I mean, I think this shirt is a great example where it's like you have these demons spearing Christ in the side, and these aren't even the devil; these are just demons. I mean, you can't really. I don't know. I'm bad at doing this. But they're spearing Christ in the side. We're talking like 90% of the time you fly around, you help people, you do some good things, you're a good Samaritan, and then 10% of the time you go up to a guy who's already crucified on the cross and you just jab him with a fucking spear in the side, right in the ribs. Uh, so that's what we're talking about. The ratios aren't really equivalent. Um, and the idea itself is kind of funny too, because what does that even mean? 90% angel, like daddy's little girl, like straight A student, 10% of the time. Like we have our ideas of what like being a devil can be for a girl. Like obviously sexuality is like super demonized, or especially in the past, that kind of thing. So maybe she like goes out necking with boys at the drive-in on Fridays, and that's the 10%. Maybe the 10% is like getting a B on a math test. Maybe it's I don't know, maybe it's like checking her text messages when she's supposed to be babysitting her little brother. I don't know. I think you can do that. I think you can. I imagine babysitters these days just sit there texting. They just sit there texting. I pay her $20 an hour, and she just sits there and texts. The good thing about that, though, is that if your babysitter's sitting there texting, your kid's probably doing the same thing. We're all just texting. What'd you do last night? I did a lot of texting. Texted all. um, Anyway, I could lose track here easily. I could lose track. But yeah, the 90% 10% ratio, I just don't think it's equivalent, and I think Maybe that's why we've moved away from it. I haven't seen it in a long time. I haven't seen 90% angel, 10% devil expressed in mainstream culture in a while, and I'm kind of wondering why that is. Is it because people realized it was the ratios weren't really equivalent, or is it because of something else that's changed in our culture? Maybe we've changed. Maybe we're more of a 90% devil, 10% angel society now. Maybe we're 50-50. But I think in order to be a good person, 90% angel, 10% devil just doesn't cut it, because being a devil is so bad. It is so insanely bad that why would you want 10% of you to be capable of devil level? Devil level. He's on that devil level. Devil level. This is my son. His name's Devil Level. Um, oh yeah, he's onto that. No, we're done. We're done. Um, but yeah, 10% of you on that devil level. So maybe a better way to express it. It's a little more accurate. And I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a scientist, so I can't really do the math. But maybe a better way to express it would be 99%, 99.9% angel, 0.01% devil, or something like that. It gets a little bit wordier. But there's nothing wrong with being wordy, especially when it comes to expressing something about yourself using the archetypes of angels and demons and devils. I mean, you should probably be kind of wordy about that. You should probably elaborate a little bit more if you're going to have a bumper sticker, a t-shirt, an AOL Instant Messenger profile, or really anything that uses the phrase, that uses references to angels and devils. I'm going to explore this topic a little bit more as the day progresses, and I may have some new revelations which I may or may not share. But for now, let's go with anytime you see a little girl and she says, I'm 90% angel and 10% devil, because that's the way a lot of little girls introduce themselves. That's how a lot of them were introducing themselves 15 years ago. But if a little girl says that to you now, like right off the bat, you just got to tell her, no, 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 honey. No. You're 99.9% angel, 0.01% devil.